What's up, ladies and gentlemen? How are you all doing today? Welcome to a new segment I would like to call Berry Drishtmas. This is basically going to be the name of my Christmas show, Berry Drishtmas. Now, the very first movie that I'm going to be reviewing for Berry Drishtmas is going to be Paranormal Activity, which you can pick up at FYE or Best Buy or even online, places like Amazon.com or Walmart or eBay or anywhere else online. You can pretty much find any movie online now these days. But yes, this is my review for Paranormal Activity. Now, I have watched this movie many, many times. I remember the very first time I watched it, and I was like, well, that was okay. It wasn't too bad. I watched the first ending. I don't think I watched the second one, not until many years later when I eventually picked the movie up, and I watched the alternate ending. And I liked the theoretical ending better than the alternate ending, but my favorite ending was the actual original ending that they had planned. I don't know why the original ending isn't in there. I guess when it was in theaters, they just decided to show all three endings. It just depended on what movie theater you went to and what ending they got. But yeah, on the DVD, it only gives you those two endings. For some reason, I didn't get the third one. But I'll talk about that later. Now, this video is going to contain spoilers, so if you do not want to know what happens in Paranormal Activity, go ahead and leave the video now. And for those who don't care and want to stay, or have already watched the movie, thank you for staying. So, Paranormal Activity is the story of a girl named Katie who has been having trouble with demon possession all of her life. Or not demon possession, but she has been followed by a demon for most of her life, ever since from she was 8 to 13 years old and up to now. And so her boyfriend Mika is basically trying to capture what's on tape and see what's going on so he can devise a plan and see what he can do to stop it, which is actually nothing because he's powerless. But he doesn't like to think that. So eventually what we get throughout this whole entire movie is, yes, them sleeping in their bedroom a lot, and that's where a lot of the hauntings take place, which that can be a little bit of a drag sometimes, but we do see a lot of the things that this demon does to Katie. Like, the first night, it's nothing really special. All it does is it just drops her keys, that's it. But later on, it eventually gets worse and worse, to things like her waking up in the middle of the night and going outside, or her just staring at Mika for a good couple hours. And it just, like, it torments her a lot, but it eventually starts to work with Mika too, because Mika is, I don't really know how to describe it. He of course wants to protect Katie, so he's like, you know what, we're not going to call. He doesn't want anyone else to help. He thinks he's got the whole entire thing under control, which Katie knows that's bullcrap. She's like, you are a powerless person. This thing is in control, and there's nothing you can do. We've got to call somebody who can help us. Because in the movie, they call a psychic, and they basically talk with him, and he tells them, like, okay, what I deal is with ghosts. You have a demon. There is nothing I can do. And he gives them a number for them to call, and he basically tells them, like, it doesn't matter where you go. This thing is going to follow you. It may be dormant for years, but it's eventually going to come back. It's like a volcano. A volcano could lay dormant for years and then eventually just start up again. That's basically what it is. So Mika, not liking those odds, decides, okay, we're going to do some experiments, which Katie refuses, and even the psychic tells him, do not use a Ouija board. He goes against Katie's wishes, and he gets one. Katie's obviously pissed off, but what's freaky is when they come back, they find out what happened on the Ouija board. The Ouija board caught fire, and it looks like the demon wrote something on the Ouija board. And of course, Mika does all this research to find what happened with the Ouija board. And he eventually comes across this girl named Diane or something like that. And you come to find out that she struggled with a lot of the same things that Katie did. And basically, Mika's basically saying, okay, look, I don't want to mess with it. Let's just leave it alone. It's gone away on its own before. Maybe it'll do it again. Sadly, it doesn't. But things eventually do get worse. They get so bad that during the day, Katie doesn't even feel safe anymore. Because usually a lot of the hauntings happen at night. And of course, that makes you feel like, oh my gosh, I do not want to go to sleep because I know what's going to happen. But when it starts messing with her during the day, that's when she starts going crazy. To where, like, she's so paranoid and so freaked out. She's just, like, in these dazes. Like, she's in a catatonic state throughout the second half of the movie. And half the time, she's just, like... I mean, that's what she's like. Because this thing is messing with her so much that she can't get any sleep at all. It's depriving her of sleep. And it's just messing with her. And it even goes to greater depths of bringing up something from her past that she hasn't seen in years. When the psychic is interviewing them, she tells him that there was a fire earlier, and they lost everything. So when Mika tries his final experiment, which is the powder, which it was basically trying to see if it would walk on and leave footprints, which it did. And Katie, they walk around the house, and they find that their attic has been opened, and Mika goes up there and finds a burnt picture of Katie. Which she says, I haven't seen this picture in 15 years, and it freaks her out really bad. And it does a lot of other things. It roars, it drags her out of the bed, it just messes with Katie completely. And it freaks me out, and here's the reason why I can relate to this movie. A couple years ago, when I was sleeping in the house by myself late at night, I was listening to something to help me get to sleep, and then all of a sudden I thought I heard someone running up the stairs. Freaked me out. And I eventually slept in the living room. So things like this scare me a lot. Now, if stuff like that happened during the day, I would be like, I'm gone. See you later. I'm gone. I'll just go back to Mac. Well, no, never mind. Mackie creeps me out too. But overall, I really wish that they had put the original ending in here, because the original ending is my favorite ending out of the three. The theatrical ending, of course, had to leave it for a sequel. But with the original ending, what basically happens is the same usual thing. Katie wakes up, and she stares at Mika, and then she goes downstairs. Well, she screams, and then Mika comes down, and then she kills him. The original ending, she goes up in her room, and she's just rocking back and forth for days. People come by the house, she doesn't answer. People go in the house, and they find Mika's dead body. People are trying to call her. And eventually the cops show up, and they eventually kill her. Because she's got a knife, and she's been sitting there holding this knife for days. And the cops are like, here, just put the knife down, and she wouldn't, so they shoot her. Which this movie honestly didn't really need a sequel. If they had shown that ending, I honestly think that it could have stood on its own. That's just my personal opinion. But this movie actually does, because I've watched all the movies, it does serve a couple plot holes with movie number 3. And I'll get to those when I review Paranormal Activity 3. But yeah, overall, I'm going to give Paranormal Activity because I really do like this movie. It's nothing groundbreaking, but I do think that it was a good idea, even though I kind of wish that maybe they would have went around the house a little bit more, look around the rooms a little bit more. But, I mean, you can't change what they've already done. But yeah, overall, this movie is pretty good. I say at least give it one watch. If scary movies are your thing, yeah, definitely watch it. I don't think it's a bad movie. I think it's a normal, mediocre ghost movie. But if I were to give this, I would probably say I would give this movie a C+ or a B-, just because it just feels like one of those every other day movies. But like they tried in the trailer to make this movie so scary, like people jumping and screaming in the theaters. Like there was only like one scene that freaked me out, and it was when Katie got dragged out of the bed. That's it. But yeah, this has been my very first episode of Barry Drishtmas. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. Put in the comments below, what did you think of Paranormal Activity? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Which one is your favorite out of the Paranormal Activity movies? I really want to know. And if you guys have any suggestions on how I can make my channel better, or if there's any horror movies you want me to review over Christmas break, please let me know. I will do it. Except Human Centipede. Oh, no. Heck no. That's a no. But yeah, like this video. Unless you're upside down, it's this one. Have a good day and a Merry Christmas, guys.